Hello everyone. My name is George Benos, PhD candidate in the University of Peloponnese, and I'm here to present you the very initial stages of my research, Reevaluation of strategy procedures of human-computer interaction in XR. So both the fields of XR and HCI are comparatively old to what most people think about, but there has been a current XR renaissance, let's say, in the previous decade, mostly due to the advancements in hardware technology that made it both more accurate and more accessible to the majority of the computer users. And let me start. So HCI as a field is pretty much tied to the current needs and trends at the time in the computer industry. So initially, we started off with command line interfaces because most computer systems were focused on speed and productivity, and computer users were treated as experts and trained professionals who used them to essentially solve complex problems. After a while, we made the jump to window-based environments, and this happened mostly because the proliferation of the personal computers and the users themselves were no longer treated as experts, but as common people who wanted to increase their also their productivity and their personal needs. But we had to also address aspects of enjoyment and ease of access. So after a while, for the next phase, we had a rapid advancement in graphics and technology, and we treated the computer screen as a way to showcase it. So more complex environments with better graphics, smoother animations, better colors to showcase what the computers were becoming, they were capable of. Indeed, after a while, we came full circle with the introduction of smartphones, which scrapped the previous experience we had with showcasing complex systems and went back to more simpler aspects, not because there was an issue with the technology, but because of the limited screen space available to the users. So instead of treating the screen space as a canvas for the developers to experiment themselves and show what they're capable of, it was very premium real estate that needed to be exploited appropriately. Now we are on the cusp, I believe, of such a radical shift with XR environment, which presents both problems and opportunities. Problems in the case, as I mentioned, that previous lessons we learned from other HA paradigms may or may not apply, and we need to re-examine them, but also opportunities because we are free from previous preconceptions and more specifically technological constraints that may skew the results. For example, one particular case of such carryovers is the extremely widespread and widely known QWERTY keyboard. It was originally introduced back in the late 800s for typewriters and was used as a way to prevent the jamming of the internal mechanism of a typewriter to facilitate speed writing. When the computers came around, we needed a way to input alphanumeric symbols into the computer. So the choice was simple. Port the QWERTY keyboard, mostly because it was already used and widely known by the user base. Also, after a while, we didn't even have a need for a keyboard, a physical keyboard. We could use the software itself, but because the familiarity carried over, there was also the case of on-screen keyboards, just to simulate the familiarity the user had with a particular keyboard. Moving on to the mobiles, this particular aspect may have carried over with some problems for the previous incarnations, mostly because of the limited screen space, but still we persisted on using this particular keyboard because at that point it was simply too widespread and too familiar. And this is something that indeed we carry over also on XR environments where the need of manually inputting alphanumeric symbols can be done in a variety of ways, simply because we still cling on to that particular keyboard schema because it was widespread used. So, just to clarify, the claim is not that the QWERTY keyboards are not effective. They have been extremely effective to survive all these years. The claim is into different contexts, we may have had opportunities to use different input methods, such as coding keyboards, which were better suited to the problem itself, but they did not have the space and time to flourish simply because the QWERTY keyboard was so widely used and widespread. So the main objective of this particular research is not only delve deeper in the usability and satisfaction aspects of input methods in both XR and standard environments, but also provide a comprehensive framework of evaluation and comparison process, and outline common pitfalls and difficulties that are common to arise in such similar attempts, hopefully used as a guideline for future research. The first step in such an attempt would be to define the problem space, and in particular, the situation that includes a proper overview and taxonomy of current common HI methods for traditional systems, their impact on these systems, and the current impact into XR systems.
Can we wrap up, please? We are running out of time.
Yes. So I'm using a three-pronged approach, using a mode of interaction, Bowman HCI, and continuity to create an initial taxonomy of input methods, which may or may not be good candidates for HR. And the next steps would be a bibliographical study to limit the scope of these particular HA methods. Within subject user design, identify the subset groups, experiment scenarios, and check for demographic biases to make sure the data is accurate and properly represent the users. After which the data will be having both a qualitative data analysis focused on more psychological user aspects and qualitative data analysis focusing on user performance, which may lead to prototyping of a new library that takes such quantitative data measurements, and also a baseline novel HCI application that focuses on implementing proper input methods for XR systems. Thank you for your time.